man, let's talk about it. I had a mock trade for Lauri Markkanen to the Pistons, which was Sasser, Simone, Fuenicini, Tobias Harris, and 2 first-round picks. I want to say it was 27 and 29. You know, my whole thing is, what position is he going to play? Is he going to play the 5? You know what I'm saying? You know, is he going to be the 4? You know, I know they play him and Walker Kessler sometimes together in Utah, you know, and you know, he does a good job at you know, shooting the ball, and you know, he give you that modern look, and obviously he'll play some 5 if they choose to keep Dern, but you know, can he get out there and defend the 4s on a consistent basis? And that's one thing you get from Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris defends the power 4s of today. So it's really, when you make these trades, they're about defense. You know, even when you look at a guy like, you know, bringing in a guy like Sabonis, you know, do they really had a defensive ceiling that, do they really got the defensive ceiling that Dern has? That's one thing you got to think, you got to look at. You know, everybody want to look at shooting and all that, man. You got to be able to stop somebody. I don't care nothing about my center shooting. Even in today's climate, I don't need you to. Like I said, if you learn to master with your back to the basket and you learn to lock the paint down, that's all I need from you. You're more effective, you know, closer to the basket. But everybody think you have to be able to shoot today to be a threat. And that's a misnomer, because they just don't know how to teach the game of basketball. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. They don't know how to teach the game of basketball. You know what I'm saying? That's, for me, it's like, you know, it's like having somebody try to use a handgun like a sniper. No. You know, you're trying to use a sniper like a handgun. No, you need to pull that big ass sniper out to shoot somebody at close range. You don't need a handgun to try to shoot somebody from fucking 90 feet. And that's what they doing with the big fellas. They trying to turn them into snipers. No, you a handgun. You a shotgun. You know what I'm saying? You good up close. That's where you do your most damage at. But that's my train of thought. Like, all right, you know, at that point, do you move Dern? You move Markkanen into the 5? And then my thing is, Markkanen good enough defensively to lock that 5 down? That's the question. But he does a lot of his work on the perimeter. He can take it off the dribble a bit. He's you know, he can post up. He can shoot. You know, my thing is this: if I'm gonna go out there and get a different 4, it's gonna be somebody in the mold of Tobias Harris, and Nas Reed, Bobby Portis. Well, I would play Bobby Portis and Tobias kind of in the rotation. That's kind of what I'm thinking of, like that modern 4. You know, but you know, maybe it could work. Maybe it could work. It won't be no issue stretching the floor, but I just think people don't really understand how important Tobias was until this turnaround for the Pistons. As far as defensively, he was very important to that turnaround. Now, Markkanen gonna give you some more rebounds, most definitely. If he get a switch on a guy like Jalen Brunson, the Knicks can't do that this year. If we play them again and they get that switch with, like they had on Tobias on Brunson, and Tobias was satisfactory, but now Markkanen to drop a 30 ball on your head. In that matchup, Markkanen gonna drop a 30 ball on your head. But the thing about it is, you actually can experiment with Markkanen and Dern. I like to hear y'all opinions. I think y'all a little bit more expertise on this one than me. You can experiment with them, and then you can flip Dern. You know, then you can flip them if you want to. But yeah, I like Markkanen. I don't think it's a bad deal neither. But like I said before, if I'm gonna trade that type of draft capital, you might as well just go. You know, you might as well just go for the gusto. That's how I feel. You might as well just go for the gusto. I'm going for the Holy Grail. I'm trying to get booked. I'm trying to get Giannis. At that point, what would it take? And if I can't get them, then I look at guys like Markkanen, and you hear stuff about Sabonis, and then I press play on that. You know, you hear, you know, New Orleans say, Joe Dumars said they're not going to trade Zion Williamson. You know, that's the definition of insanity. That's what it is. You know, it's like your girl. You know what I'm saying? You know you don't want to marry her. You know she keep cheating on you. You don't want nobody else to have her. They already have her. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You go be all of a sudden she a different chick with somebody. You're like, what? That's what they scared with Zion. I'm scared they gonna trade him. He gonna be different. Like holding on to him, bro. Like that's a bad start. I always kind of question Joe Dumars as a GM. I just think that motherfucker got lucky with Chauncey, Rip, Ben Wallace. Chucky Atkins. Talking about with Chucky Atkins. He got traded, I think, for Ben Wallace to Orlando. I just think that motherfucker got lucky because some of the decisions, low key, bro. Troy Weaver was a better evaluator of young drafting talent than Joe Dumars ever. That motherfucker sucked. He took Rodney White over Joe Johnson. Did y'all know that, dog? I'm gonna start bringing back talking about all the draft picks we missed for the Lions and the Pistons. Did y'all know this nigga took Rodney White over Joe Johnson, bro? Well, the Lions took a fullback over Jim Kelly. Maybe we wouldn't have ended up with Barry Sanders, though, but that's beyond the point. This motherfucker's not smart. I was looking at that. I was looking at Joe Johnson. Remember, he started off in Boston. I'm looking at old Joe. I'm like, Joe. Because Joe be on nightcap with Shannon. And I was like, yeah, when was Joe drafted? I think Rodney White went one pick before. I swear for God. I think it was like one or two picks before after him. I'm like, are you fucking serious? You can't make this shit up. My Kevin Samuels voice. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this up, man. I'm like, man, the Lions and the Pistons got an abysmal draft history. Abysmal. I'm just sitting there, I'm looking like these motherfuckers really took Rodney White. I remember that draft, man. We had some horrible draft picks, boy. This should get me through my workout. We had some horrible draft picks, man. That shit was comical. Man. But other than that, that's all I had to say, man. So I'll put the exact trade on the screen. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop the video. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. I think my eyes finally getting better. Still swell though, but I'm getting there. Peace.